6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother. What we do here is go back.
Hey everybody, welcome to another live chat with myself and Jesse Davin. Make sure to let us know if the audio is sounding good, the video is looking good, all that good stuff. Anybody who has a super chat, donation, anything like that, we make sure to prioritize. So if you have any questions, comments, statements, anything like that, you can super chat, or there's a donation link in the description, so you can use that as well, whatever works best for you. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of fun stuff. We have the weirdest episode of Raw I can remember in a long time, maybe ever. We have AEW tonight, which will include Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship against Darby Allin. So we got some good stuff to talk about. We got the AEW figures and my frustration that I've been dealing with trying to find them myself. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Before we get started, Jesse, how you doing?
Doing good. A little bit under the weather, not the thing that we're all freaking out about. I can smell fine, no coughs, I can taste fine. Just like a sinus infection, probably from wearing my damn mask all the time. So I've got some hot tea here, forgive the voice and the sniffles, but I'm doing good. Big Ten released their football schedule this morning. When I just called my dad to give him a heads up that they were going to release it, they released it, and then we FaceTimed and we talked, and it was fun. So if you want to super chat a donation and talk about football and about my thoughts on the Big Ten schedule, I'd be happy to go into that, but I won't in detail on here unless someone super chats it, because this is not, no one cares about football here. We're talking about wrestling. But other than that, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'd be doing a whole lot better if I could find any of these AEW figures in Walmart. Me and Jesse were talking about this before the stream. She was lucky enough to have found the belt and the ring.
Yeah, let me show you guys. Let me Let me turn off my background so it doesn't disappear. There, is my
Yeah.
background gone? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Monday I went to one Walmart and found this.
Nice.
I love it. It's really good quality. For how much was it? Like $10. Haven't opened it yet. Was gonna open it here, but I don't really have a lot of room. So maybe
Oh,
next time. But I
let it breathe.
know I need to let it breathe. I'm scared. I don't want to like rip it. But it is really nice, and honestly, it like comparing it to the WWE ones, it's a little bit bigger. It's probably about the size of the actual women's belt. And then
Oh,
today, thank you, Eric Stevens, who lives in like literally like the almost exact same area as me. I saw today he posted this picture, and I was like, oh my god, which Walmart is that? This one or this one? And he said, this one, go. And I did. And so I found the ring. Unfortunately, we don't have any action figures to go with it yet, but my daughter plays with Barbies anyway, so she'll probably just use Barbies.
see, you have at least that level of like reasoning to get these. For me, like it's not like I'm gonna play with these figures. So for me, it's just like collecting. But
Yeah.
for her, that's a lot of fun. Like hopefully she gets into these because you can keep buying the figures and then she can actually play with the ones that you don't
Yeah.
display. So that's yeah. I'm so mad. Like I have a literal I don't have my extra cameras set up today, but like for those of you who've been watching our show, this office that I'm in is literally it's just full of memorabilia and action figures and Funko Pops and we're all surrounding me. And I've cleared out a shelf specifically for these AEW figures. Like an empty shelf just waiting for these figures. I'm trying to give you my money. And I've been to Walmart 4 days in a row now. I went the day before they were supposed to come out just in case they were gonna like stock them early or something. I saw the belts were kind of popping around, randomly. So yeah, went there. Then I went there on release date. Nothing. Went there yesterday. Nothing. Went there today. Nothing. They haven't had the belt, the ring, any of the figures. Nothing at all in my Walmart. I'm in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So for those of you, if there's anybody who is anywhere near Atlanta and has had success finding these, please let me know in the chat or hit me up on Twitter at @FightTalk_. It's right underneath me. If you got a tip on like where these things are at, I'd love to know because I would love to buy literally all of them. So,
Dude, yeah. I mean, like I told you, you need to try other Walmarts. If your local Walmart ain't pulling through, try a different one. So,
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's really all I can do. Or just, because what I'm afraid of is like missing the date that they come out and then they just sell out like immediately. And then it takes, because what I'm fighting against is constantly the pre order off Ringside Collectibles. Because
yeah.
part of me is like, screw even stressing out about it. I should just go on Ringside and just at this point just order all the ones up to this point, then just pre-order all of Series 2. But then also part of me is like, but if you go to Walmart, you might find the Chase variants. Like there's the Cody and the Jericho that have like the limited editions and stuff that you can only.
What?
Yeah, they have an Inner Circle Jericho, and Cody with like the Star Trek thing, Star Trek gear or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's also the Ringside Collectible, a little bit of the bubbly Jericho. So there's 3 different Jerichos already.
Oh my god.
And I don't have any of them. And it's
Well, apparently I've heard that, I don't know, like for you and me, I think this is relevant, but for other people it may not be if you're like up north or over west. Because like the hurricane, like shipment was delayed because I don't know if you guys are aware, but we had a little hurricane tropical storm business. We didn't get nothing. It was like we got like 3 bands of rain. It was like whatever because we're on the west coast of Florida. But yeah, so I've heard that was a big issue. That could have been an issue more for you too because you were closer to all that than I was really.
yeah. They've also like Walmart's are doing resets on their toy section at the moment too. So the timing was just terrible because like
Yeah.
they have to like completely redo. I've worked retail in the past and like I'm not never for Walmart, but for similar type places, like
Mm-hmm.
TNT and that kind of stuff, where you had to do resets where like the store would close and everyone had to stay.
Oh god, like inventory.
Yeah, basically like all the pegs that all the items would sit on
Mm-hmm.
or hook into or whatever, all the different displays and stuff like that. You basically get like a big blueprint looking thing from. Oh, speaking of blueprints, I never showed this on the stream, but any Mallrats fans out there might recognize those. I got all
Oh, nice.
the blueprints from Mallrats, but they basically give you blueprints for like what you have to, how the store has to look, because corporate is like every store needs to look just like this, and so Walmart got those.
My Walmart.
When they wound up getting these things as these figures are coming out, so the timing's just terrible. Like they have to do a whole reset, and it's probably they could show up today. They could show up weeks from now. There's just no way of knowing.
Yeah. Oh. I know. It's frustrating because it's like you get frustrated, but then you don't want to get mad at the workers because it's not their control.
Especially right now. Like I've worked for like 10 years.
They're risking their lives so that
I've never had to work through a pandemic like this in retail. That's got to be a nightmare. So,
someone in the chat said Target has them too. I don't know about that. I need to go to our Target. Our Target's kind of not a little ways away. I mean, it's not that far, but I should go to Target and look. I'm trying to avoid going outside as much as I can right now, but
yeah, I've pretty much only went out for this. Like every time I go to Walmart to try to find these figures. Yeah, but James, if Walmart has, or sorry, Target has them, I mean, I'll call my local Target and see if they've got them. But
might as well.
Yeah, but I mean, outside of that, I mean, everything else going well. I'm editing a video right now that should be up on YouTube within the next like week or so, probably. So, video editing and working on Parkinson's Foundation stuff. So it's been good.
Awesome.
Yeah. So like Jesse was saying, like I was saying before, I already see some people talking about Raw Underground. So I mean, we might as well just jump right into Raw.
We might as well.
I mean,
like I said, if anyone wants to super chat about Big Ten football, I would love to talk about it. But I'm not going to talk about it unless we get super chatted because this is not the demographic that we want. But yeah, we need to talk about Raw, and I know you have a lot that you want to say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'll preface it by saying I haven't watched Raw I can't tell you the last time I watched. I mean, it hasn't been months, but it's definitely been weeks, if not like close to months. Basically, at this point, I'm pretty much just watching WWE pay-per-views. But up until, I mean, I was watching Raw every Monday, well, give or take. I was a WCW fan growing up, so I watched Nitro mainly during like the late '90s, but switched back and forth. But that's all to say, since about 1995, when the show started, and every Monday, wrestling every Monday. Even when WCW went under, it's like I still watch Raw every Monday. Even when Impact Wrestling tried Mondays, I would switch over to Impact Wrestling. Like Monday's my wrestling night, always has been, my whole life. And over the last few months, I was like, this just isn't worth my time. And yeah, and I was just like, but it's also because like Wednesdays is where it's at for me now. You got AEW and NXT head to head. Like I'm way more into that anyways. So I get on Twitter on Monday, and there's all these people talking about like Shane McMahon's gonna make an announcement on Raw.
Matt.
And my first instinct is like, didn't Vince McMahon on like the shareholders call and all that stuff like just say they need to make new stars because he was getting grilled as to like what's going on with the ratings, and then I start saying, oh, Shane McMahon's returning. That's how to push new stars, bring back Shane McMahon. Like what? So I was like, okay, there's no reason for me to tune into Raw now. Like, this is the complete opposite of what I'm looking for. Like, this is why I like AEW, because I see something new and different. So, so then I started seeing people, fairly credible sources, reporting that there's rumors that Shane McMahon might be starting some sort of MMA related thing, and they start talking about Pride FC, which was an old MMA company that the UFC bought. That it was my favorite MMA company of all time when it existed, and people are talking about like, oh man, maybe Shane will bring back like a Pride type thing. And I'm sitting here going, oh my god. I even tweeted, um, I can find it real quick. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
my
favorite
stupid.
thing was your thing about Professor Chaos. That was so
Oh,
funny. Oh
yeah,
my
we'll
gosh, that
definitely
was
talk about
so
that
accurate.
because that's relating to the other story of Raw that wound up being um, the basically the Antifa group that is now attacking Raw.
Yeah, I don't know if we can
Um,
say that here though.
oh, here we go, more boxes. That was ours right there.
Yes.
I'll go back to that in a second. Okay, so here we go. So this is what I'm talking about. I see this. It says, it's been a wild day in Florida. The craziest rumor that has escaped is that a new Shane McMahon concept for Raw is something akin to Brawl for All shoot fights, complete with, quote, female dancers hired as extras to provide, quote, atmosphere. I'm not making any of this up. And I tweeted below it, I was like, there's absolutely no chance this happens, but if it somehow does, I'll actually tune into Raw. And lo and behold, this actually happened. So I tuned in.
Dude. Dude.
like, like, I couldn't believe what I saw on Monday. Oh my god, that was stupid.
I loved it, but not for the reasons that I think were the goal. Like, I was laughing the whole time. This, like, okay, first of all, number one, you want to make it more credible, stop with the camera cuts. The dancers, like, I didn't have a problem with them after, like, a little while, but I had a problem with them because they just kept cutting to them. Like, it was like subliminal advertising. I'm like, okay, what's the point?
And it was like 2 second clips. Like it had
Yes,
nothing to do with what was going.
had nothing to do. And I'm like, what the heck? And then they show like a wide shot and it's like the atmosphere. I'm like, okay, you need to have like a steady camera shot, like, you know, like an incognito, like, you know, maybe heck, do like camera, like cell phone camera. Like make it look like you're shooting it on an iPhone or shooting it on like a VH or like an old school camera, you know? Like make it look underground. Don't make it look like a production. Stop with shaky cam. We don't need shaky cam for people hitting the ring. You know, we don't need the camera doing that. This is Raw Underground. This is supposed to be different. Stop with 1,000 camera cuts. I'm pregnant. It makes me nauseous. It makes me feel gross. And I don't like it. But I did really love the cool. My husband just came, and my daughter's gonna freak out because he has to go to the dentist, and so she's gonna cry. So just FYI. But like the ending had me really interested.
When the Hurt Business came in and
Dude, okay, can we talk? Can I just say, the Hurt Business is the best name, the best name I've ever heard. I love it. I think it's epic.
yeah, I mean, I like what they're doing with them for sure. Like, and I like all three of those guys. Like, I like Lashley. I like Shelton forever. I mean, like, he's finally doing something that matters. Like,
Yeah.
about it. And MVP, dude, MVP just a few years ago, he was doing a show on Vice where, like, he was working the indies, and it was basically about like how his career was like just like fading away, basically. And it was like now he's like a main part of Raw. Pretty crazy. I will say that.
Yeah, we got a super chat. Dylan's wrestling stuff. Thank you so much, Dylan. Kind of goes along with what we're talking about. It says, thank you, Dylan, again. Thank you, helping Baby Fun, helping Steven Fun. We appreciate it so much. You're awesome, Dylan's wrestling stuff. You're so cool. It says, number one, Shane McMahon is not a new star. And number two, who asked for Raw Underground? Nobody. Yeah. And I can get into the not a new star thing. I can go off on that a little bit after you answer. But nobody asked for this. But listen, you know, I'm not actually that mad at it. I'm really not, because it's something new, it's something different. That's what we want. I think it has a lot of potential. Like, this could be so cool for like Brock Lesnar to walk on in. Matt Riddle could totally own it. Like, there's so much. And I saw Karrion Kross tweeting like TikTok about it. So you have so much potential. It's rugged. It's cool. like kind of lame, yeah, kind of hilarious, yes, but I think it does have a lot of potential if they let it have potential. So what do you think?
So yeah, I mean, I think that there are things they can do with it. I just have very little faith that any of these things are going to come off as anything other than like really really corny. Like I don't know. Like I like so when Matt Riddle did Bloodsport, and then Josh Barnett does them now the Bloodsport. I like those a lot.
Hmm.
But there isn't. I think I saw something that it was something like there was. I wish I remember who had said this. I think it was someone on Alvarez's show. The dude with the beard. What? God darn! I always forget his name. It starts with an S.
Semper Vivi.
Yes, I was about to say, dude, we follow each other on Twitter. I feel bad that
I love Mike Semper Vivi.
I
He's
think
so
you.
nice.
I think he was the one that I heard say something like there was like five. I'm not direct quoting. I'm a little off with this, but it was like there was five official Raw Underground fights, and there was something like 75 camera cuts total.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it was him.
that's insane.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like you can tell they're trying to like get over Babatunde, or they're calling him something different now. They're calling him like what did they call the guy?
It sounds like a Star Wars name.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was something Kato that they're calling him now.
Yeah, I like him though. I've seen some footage of him at NXT house shows. But yeah, and someone said in the chat, why can't they give WWE credit for doing something new? That's what I said. I said, you know what? It's new. It's different. It made me tune in. It made me invested. It made me interested. I like it. I like different. I'm not bored now when I watch Raw. I am like hella entertained. I don't know if it's for the reason they want, but I am like laughing and having fun. I'm like loving it. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people hated it. I know Brian Alvarez absolutely hated it. That's fine. I love Brian Alvarez. Respect the heck out of him. I think he gets too much crap. I think he's awesome. Super nice dude. One of the nicest people like I've ever met, or not met, but like talked to. And he follows me. I follow him. Super nice. He's allowed to have that opinion. Like
Sure.
we can differ, and I don't hate him for it. Like, but it's like watching. You know what it reminded me of?
What did it remind you of?
Jerry Springer. It's Jerry.
Yeah,
Springer.
with Shane out there like
Yes.
egging it on and everything.
And we all know Jerry Springer is absolute trash, and we all watch it because it's like, uh oh, sister and brother, doing things they shouldn't be doing, it's just like so ridiculous, and and it even gave me a Jerry Springer vibe, like with the smoke and like the urban, like the the brick and the warehouse. It looks like a warehouse, and the strippers or whatever, the dancers. Like,
So here's kind of my issues with it, right? So I think part of it for me, of course, is that the majority of my living is based around watching mixed martial arts. So I mean, I'm very used to what like an actual fight looks like, and what I'm watching on this Raw Underground thing.
mm-hmm.
They're not the same thing, but
Yeah, that's true.
but it's also something where like if the pro wrestling rules were different, so I guess what I'm getting here is like for like the longest time, closed fist punches were illegal in professional wrestling rules, and I think sometime in the last decade or so, it either has just been completely ignored or it's been or it's been changed. Because people use closed fist punches in pro wrestling in every single match.
Yeah.
But the rules used to be, or might still be, that once again I don't know currently where the actual rules stand, but it used to be like open palms for wrestling. You could use open palms, and you couldn't use closed fists. And see, that would make a lot of sense if you did something like this also. Because when you see Bobby Lashley punch someone in the face on Raw Underground, it's like, oh, he used a closed fist and punched him in the face and knocked him out. You don't see that on pro wrestling.
Yeah.
But
Different.
But if you watch Bobby Lashley wrestle on the WWE, that same night, he's using closed fist punches the whole match and not knocking people out.
Yeah.
Those are my issues with this kind of stuff. Is like, okay, so they're gonna put like Dolph Ziggler in there, right? And it makes sense because he was a fantastic amateur wrestler in college.
Yes, Kent State, Golden Flashes.
Yeah, yep. And he's, I mean, and it's cool to see him do something different. But part of me is like, well, so what if Dolph Ziggler goes on like a run in Raw Underground, right? Like just like starts just like tearing everyone apart. But then it's like, but you can't ever win anything that matters on the actual show. Like, how does this make any sense? So you're a badass on this thing that's real fighting. It's supposed to be real fighting. But then on like the whatever we're supposed to think the other, I mean, we all know it's fake, obviously, but like whatever that other thing's supposed to be on the show, you can't get the job done in that, but you can beat everyone in real fights. How's this make any sense?
Because because rules are a party pooper.
Because of rules.
Because of rules.
But which rules would stop Dolph Ziggler from doing exactly that to somebody in the WWE?
Count out.
To do rear naked chokes.
Shenanigans.
I guess we could see. We could see that in Raw Underground too, though. Hurt Business just came in and beat up everybody.
I love that name too, the Hurt Business.
Oh, me too. Well, and here's the thing: if they can do something with Raw Underground to where like, if it becomes a thing where the Hurt Business like has taken it over, and they are running it like a mob type scenario where they're like trying to fix fights and like creating storylines like based on like that, I'm very interested in. I do like the idea of that because they're not trying to. I don't think it's a good idea to try to like. Here's another point is like Cain Velasquez versus Brock Lesnar in Saudi Arabia. I like the chat to answer. Who liked that? And I'm not gonna like roast you if you did. I just thought it looked really, really stupid because we all know it's not an actual fight, and you're trying to look like that, but nothing else on the show looks like that. So like, what's supposed to be? I mean, it's just strange to me.
Yeah. There's definitely plot holes. There's a potential for plot holes, but what if this is taking place in like an alternate universe? Like this is when you go underground. By the way, that is Central Florida. You cannot go underground. You are underwater, bitch. This is raw Atlantis. Okay.
Yeah, I saw.
Okay. Like for real. Guys, in Florida, we don't have basements because if we did, we'd be straight up underwater, okay? I hate to break it to you. It's not really underground. I get it. It's the name. But just saying.
Shane McMahon in a bunker.
Yeah, a bunker would be better.
But
well, hell, they better watch out. The group, the non-political.
Right. See, I was about to go into that because the Fight Club thing or Raw Underground, that was by far, in my opinion, the best. Like, you've heard what I think about it. I don't think it was a good idea.
No.
By far, the best of the new ideas that I've seen.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, because we've also got to talk about the Retribution group, and we also got to talk about Montez Ford being poisoned on the show.
Oh my God. Okay, so I have a theory about that. I do have a theory about that, but bitch, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's an amazing backdrop. Molotov cocktails.
How much money did WWE make this quarter?
Like 50 million, I think.
$50 million. So you're telling me a company that made $50 million has their audio and electrical equipment like not inside during like storms and a hurricane, but you have it outside with straight up redneck wires on it and then a sign that says Alive Power. You are telling me that a company that made $50 million in a quarter supplies their power and their electrical and their audio through like wires to a generator on top of like a metal like storage box from, like, what's that place called? The lot place. What's that place?
Lowe's.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
You're good. I can talk. I can talk about this for a minute. So yeah, this is where so me and Jesse were actually talking about this group because there was of course the boxes that fell in the back because that was like a big part of the setup to this was there was boxes, and so they were reporting on the show like there's boxes that have gone down. It must have been this new crazy group.
Forklift. Whoa.
What was that?
Forklift flashbacks.
Yeah, it was like the same exact thing as like when Roman Reigns got hit with, or didn't get hit, like almost got hit with a bunch of boxes.
Oh man.
Yeah, and part of me almost thinks that like this is all related. Like Retribution's actually related to the Raw Underground thing because like it's pretty much this Fight Club, right? It's like take down the system, and then we're gonna like fight and like get it all out, and and then we'll cause chaos. And it's like, did Vince McMahon just see Fight Club? Like that's a legitimate question we need to be asking ourselves. Has he finally seen this movie, and he's like, this is such good shit. We need to let's just make this Raw. I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah. It's just like, well, for one, they did it just after the 24/7 match, so you have these ninjas, which I won't even get into the ninjas. It's so wrong. I'm like, what are the ninjas doing? I'm like, they look just like the ninjas, but apparently they're vigilantes in hoodies, cause whatever.
Well, the one dude guarding the door, that huge dude, was clearly the gigantic ninja also. It's clearly the guy.
Yes. So I'm like, what? The ninjas have declared anarchy. Cool. What is happening? What is real life? Don't get me wrong, I loved it because it was just it was such compelling television. Like, I really did. I genuinely enjoyed it. I wasn't actually pissed off. My husband was. My husband was really mad because he was about to go off, even though he doesn't have a Twitter. He was about to go off on all these like credible reporters that were like, "Oh yeah, you definitely want to tune into Raw tonight. It's gonna be unmissable." Like, he was like, "Oh, what's gonna happen?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. We got these new factions. Like, it's gonna be." He loves Undisputed Era.
Me too.
Tone.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, it's gonna." I'm like, "Michael's not Undisputed Era. Get out of here." And so he's like, "I cannot believe I stayed up for this." Like, at the end, he was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "This is just trash." And I was like loving it. I'm like he was laughing too. I loved it. I just thought it was such like such garbage, but like I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it was definitely different, and I wasn't like the one thing I don't like to be when I'm watching wrestling is fucking bored. I've been bored with Raw and SmackDown lately, like absolutely bored. And then I was not bored. I was not bored at all. This was great. It was like so funny. I thought it was damn hilarious. But like, yeah. Here's one thing though. I would definitely watch AEW Dynamite with friends and family. I would not watch Raw and SmackDown with friends and family. I would be embarrassed as hell, especially SmackDown. Let's just be real. SmackDown's trash.
That's so true.
Let's just get out. Raw, I will watch Raw. I could not be bothered with SmackDown except for the Fiend. Sorry, attacking Alexa Bliss, which I did not have a problem with. I thought she did a great, fantastic, amazing job. She looked scared shitless, like for real. I didn't have a problem with it at all. That was really cool. It made sense. So, but anyway, I didn't even watch SmackDown. I can't. My Fox app isn't working, so I can't. But USA Network is working, baby, and
I have not watched I have not watched SmackDown since the debut on Fox.
What?
I watched when Cain Velasquez came out because I thought he was going to be on the show, and I was like, okay, like this will be cool to see Cain Velasquez, see what he does, because he was killing it in AAA. Like I was like, this guy, like he really impressed me in the ring in his AAA match,
Yeah.
and so I was really looking forward to it. And when he came out to like protect Rey Mysterio, because like they were kind of hinting it beforehand, and they actually did it, and I was like, okay, like. All right, I guess because they're both Hispanic, they know each other and they're friends because that's how WWE works. Because if you're black, you get matched with all other black people, and if you wear a mask, you match with all the other people that wear a mask, and it's like and I was like, this is so weird to me. Like like how is Rey Mysterio actually? And they try to make it to where it was like they were like it was like his godfather, like Dominic's godfather is all of a sudden Cain Velasquez and all this stuff. And then I heard Cain Velasquez on the microphone, and it was I'm not exaggerating. I think he was the worst I've ever heard on the microphone on a mainstream professional wrestling show in my whole life. So I guess I kind of understood like Mysterio being like his mouthpiece, but then they still let him talk during the press conferences and stuff, like Kane, and it was so bad. So I gave up on SmackDown. I guess this is like my whole point. I was like, that was the only thing I was really interested in. I wanted to tune in to see Matt Riddle, but then I heard that he was just like another guy now also. Like they're not really doing anything with him, and he's just kind of, I think he lost to AJ recently and stuff, which is it's AJ, but I just have no interest in SmackDown, at all.
Yeah, I know. Sucks.
Yeah, I mean, luckily AEW is killing it, and NXT is as well.
Yeah, thank God. That's like the prime wrestling right now.
Yeah, for sure. And with Raw, I will say this, like, I did have a lot of fun watching Raw because I really enjoyed watching Twitter, which I usually try to kind of stay off Twitter when I watch wrestling for the most part because I like to just kind of form my own opinions about the show.
Yeah, it's hard.
But I was thoroughly enjoying. I mean, the people wrote the show was funny to me, and even the people who liked it, it's fine with me. I don't care what people like. Like if it's something that I don't, it's all complete opinion. Like I'm not right. It doesn't matter.
Stop shitting on people for liking something that you don't like. I cannot stand that. Let people like what they want.
Yeah, I mean, I can voice my opinion on how stupid I think something is.
Yes.
I'm not gonna roast people who actually like it. Like they like it, they like it.
A differing opinion is not an insult.
Right.
Yes.
It's accepted at this point that like the WWE product just really isn't for me at this point, anyways. Mm-hmm. Like when I tune in, my expectations are very low. So like, you know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
But they had, and I'll say this. For people who aren't as tapped into mixed martial arts, this might be an exciting thing for them to watch. They might really enjoy this. This might be new to them. This might be something where they're like, "Oh wow, I didn't really care about like the wrestling, but like this fight thing looks really cool." I mean, maybe it'll work. Maybe if they do get people involved, like Riddle and Lesnar and Karrion Kross and Shayna Baszler. I mean, my God, you got Shayna Baszler on your roster.
Yeah.
I mean, you go have her go in there and beat up some men, like some of those guys out.
Oh, yes.
Like, and I'm not even into intergender wrestling, but like, I'd be fine with Shayna going in there and just like calling out chumps from like I mean, not Swerve Strickland, who for some reason was one of those guys on Monday, just outside the ring getting beat up by the Hurt Business.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, and they're like pushing him to be like the next cruiserweight champion, but he's just like this nameless face in the fight pit crowd. But, because even earlier this year, the match that Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle had on NXT and like that Lion's Den looking thing.
Yeah.
Really good.
It was so good.
So they are capable of doing these types of things. It's just, I just have such low expectations.
Right.
Because with the NXT thing, Triple H and other people are in charge of that. With this Raw thing, it's like, I'll end it on this because I know I'm rambling.
You're good.
There's one thing I need to throw out there. They consistently said during this show, this is the brainchild of Shane McMahon, right? Raw Underground. It's the brainchild of Shane McMahon. Okay, Well, how about implementing the brainchild of Triple H, NXT? How about putting that product and stuff from that onto Raw? Because
Dude, yeah.
that's what we've all been calling for. Nobody was calling for Fight Club. Nobody was calling for Montez Ford being poisoned. Nobody was calling for an Antifa rebel group. Like,
Dude, that's so.
I'm not
yeah.
saying that none of these things are gonna work out. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I am saying is people are begging for Triple H to take the reins, not the Roman reigns, but well, maybe depending on I feel like Roman Reigns, but to take the reins of the company and that's his brainchild. Use that brainchild. Like, why are you going back to Shane McMahon's brainchild? Use this.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got another super chat if you want to.
Yes, we did. Speaking of NXT, thank you so much, Dylan. Seriously, you're such an MVP. Thank you so much, Dylan. We cannot express to you enough how much we appreciate your support. If anybody wants to super chat, please go ahead. But Dylan, man, you always deliver. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. He thinks he knows who's in Retribution. He's got a prediction, and I think it's pretty spicy. He says it's Ciampa, Dijakovic, Candice LeRae, and Johnny Gargano.
That's interesting. There was more than just 4 people, I think, like with the Moltovs.
Were there?
I think. I might be wrong.
I think that would be awesome. I know that Dijak, because that's what apparently they're calling him now.
Are they actually calling him Dijak now?
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. They changed his name from Dijak to Dijakovic for no reason when he joined NXT. And
Right.
now all of a sudden Keith Lee keeps calling him Dijak. And then I can't remember who it was. Someone else came in and called him Dijakovic and corrected him. But it was like
I
so
never understood that. Like, they could have just called him because it was Donovan Dijak on the
yeah.
and they could have just called him Dijak, just that right off the bat. I never understood the Dijakovic thing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5.
So the people Dylan said, I mean, that's a random group, but I mean, there are 4 people that I really like. As far as
I'm looking at the picture. It looks like one's definitely a female.
Okay, interesting.
There's one just from a screen grab. This is just from a screen grab. One is definitely a female. Maybe 2. No, not yet, sweetheart. Just be done. Well, just be good. Someone said there are 3 women and 2 men. I definitely see at least 2 women. Maybe one smaller dude, which could be Gargano because he's small, but not. Oh yeah, look at they're jumping up and down. There's definitely maybe 3 chicks, maybe 3 chicks and 2 dudes, or maybe just a smaller, maybe like a Drake Maverick.
Nothing sells fear like Drake Maverick.
Yeah.
Someone said that wrestling house said Sanity. Like, it's Sanity too. I thought of Sanity also when I was watching.
Yeah. A lot of people did. God, that was just so lame. Who has their setup like that? Like, what company, what $50 million per quarter company sets up their stuff like that? And people legitimately believed that it was the weather.
Oh, right.
I was like,
yeah, with, like,
and I was like, I'm not gonna say anything, but like, seriously, I was just like, are you?
I can't remember who I heard.
Really, it's fun to speculate. I love speculating.
I can't remember who I heard say it. It might have been Alvarez also, who said he was like, they cut to, they're talking about like going through Raw, and they're like, they tell us this is footage from earlier in the day, and then it's dark outside. And they shows the
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. So that was really funny. It's like, it's so dark that you can't tell what anything is, but it was supposed to be video from earlier in the day.
Right. Yeah. I thought it was Ricochet, Cedric, and Ali. I really did. I thought that was going to be the new faction, but I don't know.
If they implement the hacker thing into this, that's great.
That would be cool.
At least then they could say they did something with it.
Yeah.
rat tail because my hair is not tied well.
Yeah, it's fine. Rat tails are in the 90s.
The 90s were
Anyway,
best generation ever.
dude, I was watching videos from the 90s today. Like sounds every 90s kid remembers.
Oh, I bet I'd be pretty good at that.
Oh, I was too. I knew them all. Who doesn't?
Speaking of
I will.
like early 2000s, I guess, but this was the tweet from.
God, that was so good. That was
There is-
so Professor Chaos. Like that was so accurate.
Yeah, for those of you who are South Park fans, you'll probably get this reference, but yeah,
Yes.
when
Professor
we saw
Chaos.
when we saw the boxes go down, it was like, Jesse's. Well, this was actually right before the boxes, so the timing was really good. You tweeted out that whoever's flickering the lights and messing around on the mic or messing around with the mics is not causing chaos. They're just being annoying as hell. And then this is Professor Chaos from South Park.
Oh my God.
Screwing up. This is more for anyone if you're listening kind of audio. Like it's basically just screwing up. He opens a drawer of folded laundry, folded clothes, and just messes it all up and closes the door and starts laughing.
So good. That's exactly what it was too. And we do have another super chat from Harold. Thank you so much, Harold. You are awesome. Hope you are well. Thank you so much. We seriously super duper appreciate it. He said, finally saw Raw Underground. Was on the floor laughing at the music and dancers. So basically moves that are normal on Raw are finishers on Underground. Yeah, man. I was laughing. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was like Can't Look Away, Jerry Springer, so good. Like I was trying not to be cynical about it because I wanted to actually enjoy myself. So I'm just trying, and I know, like I'm trying to take away like logic at all, which is like basically what I do with all WWE at this point. Just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. Just look at it for what it is and laugh and enjoy it. And if you're even if you're like, man, I shouldn't be laughing at this, and you laugh, so what? You're having fun, right? But
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you know what makes it so much more different, Steven? There's no ropes.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It's much harder and hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah. So Harold basically echoing my opinion on the whole thing. So
Yeah.
thank you for that super chat. I don't know if you were here earlier, but if you weren't, just
No.
just a little bit earlier, I went pretty heavy on what my thoughts on Raw Underground are, so you can check that out if you happen to miss it. But I think we're kind of along the same lines there. Yeah, punches are not. I mean, I know the Big Show has a knockout punch, but yeah, Lashley just KOing people with right hands now. People doing ground and pound, which is basically used as like a more or less a rest hold type scenario in pro wrestling. So yeah, I'm with you. Thank you for the super chat. What did you just see, Jesse? You said something.
Oh no, I was talking to Scarlett. She was.
Oh. Gotcha.
Yeah. She was complaining. She's like a WWE fan.
She's like me. I complain about WWE all the time.
Yeah, but man, could I completely doo-doo all over this? Absolutely. Am I going to? No. Like I said, it's different. I wanted different. And this is different. And you know what? Honestly, Shane McMahon is such a living meme. Like, the man is a living meme. The man is so memeable. Like, he's just hilarious. I laugh every time he's on screen. He's just so damn funny. And I'm in it to win it. I'm here for the money with Shane McMahon. He's just so funny.
That rhymed.
Oh my god, it did! Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the other thing, too. And this is really, like, kind of the bottom line of, I guess, really what's most important, I think, about this conversation about Raw is, like, if you don't like it, there's no one forcing you to watch the show. Like, if you watch it, and just go into it knowing what show you're tuning into, you know? Like, when I watch Raw, I know I'm tuning into a show that is not the same show that I grew up with. I know it's different. I know it's more geared towards kids. I know I understand. It's a PG show. They're trying to make it a little more edgy with like the Raw Underground thing. You can see it's not like the Attitude Era is back. It's not that. Not that I necessarily even want it to be that. But that's the great thing for wrestling fans right now, like myself, is if you don't want to tune into Raw every week, there's AEW on Wednesdays, or there's NXT on Wednesdays, there's Impact Wrestling on Tuesdays, which outside of Wrestle House has been a really solid show lately. You can go to IWTV or IndependentWrestling.tv. There are hundreds of thousands of hours of wrestling you could watch for independents. There's even the NWA is supposed to be coming back at some time in the near future. There's Ring of Honor. There's New Japan Pro Wrestling. And that's just like scratching the surface. There's so much wrestling available that like if you're a wrestling fan, there's still plenty of stuff out there for you to like. And I'm just realistic about it. I don't tune into Raw that often anymore, and when I do, I'm probably going to be laughing at most of the show because it just isn't written for me.
It's a comedy at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you also had people. I don't think about this either too much. Like in the '90s, this was mainly for like. I would assume because I grew up through it. I was a kid in the '90s throughout this, but like this was a show that was mainly watched by and geared towards men, like specifically straight men in their from the ages of like 16 to 35 or whatever. And now the product is clearly like it's written for children, it's written for women, it's written for people of all sexual orientations, it's written for a wide range of people. And that wide range of people just doesn't really overlap a whole lot with like what I like as a wrestling fan. And it isn't that I'm like homophobic or sexist or it's nothing like that. It's just I liked a certain type of wrestling that I grew up on, and AEW can do that, but also like they're giving me the product I want, but they also have like Sunny Kiss and Nyla Rose and a women's division and plenty of things that include every type of person. So like it's all inclusive, but the actual product is way more like what I like. That's kind of how I fall with all this. Same with NXT. I could say pretty much the same exact thing about how NXT operates. It isn't even like exclusively like WWE versus AEW. Like if they were doing these things on Raw, I'd watch Raw every Monday. It's that simple.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely. I feel like the trying to gear it towards kids really kind of damaged it a little bit because what happened was you have the Attitude Era, right? Young kids, teenagers, demographic 20s, whatever. Then you have, okay, well, we're going to go PG now, But it's like they forgot that they were forgetting about the demo and the people that loved it in the first place. Like, they didn't grow out of it. Their kids certainly aren't going to be into it, but they're still going to want to watch. Like, think about all the long-running shows that have loyal fans and will continue to do it. Like, they completely went off the rails. They tried to grab a market that they had before, but they weren't as successful with before. It was just, I don't know, it was just weird. I don't get it, but it really did kind of start a little bit of a downfall. And I don't know if it's just them trying to get back into kind of getting back that demo, getting back that kind of key group of people and getting more people to watch. I hope it works. I want it to be successful, but man, I can't do anything but like laugh at it.
Yeah. I mean, what I think most wrestling fans like me are more upset about with the WWE is the feeling that, for the most part, like they didn't just like it doesn't feel so much like they forgot about those fans. It's that they just don't care. It's like we're okay with the concept of, well, there's always going to be kids, like a new crop of kids growing up. So like you like WWE when you're a kid, and like your parents might bring you to the show and buy you stuff, And then when you kind of grow out of it, then we get a whole new group of young fans, and almost like kind of how like Disney works, because that's definitely geared more towards kids. But there's also a very large like adult fan base for it, but it's very much geared towards kids. But that's never going to end. What I'm more concerned about with Raw is like that hardly anyone is just watching in general now. Like the ratings are so low that like AEW and NXT are collectively doing the same types of numbers as the third hour of Raw. So like there's as many people watching wrestling on Wednesdays as Mondays. They're just getting split between two shows. So like the fan base is there. It's strange times. But Beef Marino makes an interesting point in the chat. Says it's impossible to please everyone, and that's why wrestling sucks. It shouldn't be all-inclusive. Desperate Housewives didn't try to please anyone but their core audience. I kind of disagree with that. It shouldn't be all-inclusive, because I want as many people as possible, like, in being able to enjoy the show. But you do make a good point. Like, Desperate Housewives, 1,000,000% is not trying to cater to my demographic. Like that's... I understand what you're saying. It's interesting. You're muted, Jesse. I don't know what... Someone's up with your...
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
sorry. I was rambling there for a second because I thought you were.
No. Sorry, I like leaned this way and like tried to do this, and I contracted my muscles a little weird, and I felt like a pull, and I was like, oh god, so I kind of freaked out a little bit. But yeah, I think trying to please everyone is impossible. If you do that, you're just gonna. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. So I agree with you on that point. But I think wrestling in a whole should be like inclusive. I don't think you should force it. But I don't think that I have a problem with them trying to be inclusive.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all kind of along the same lines there, where it's like you want everyone to be able to enjoy it, but at the same time, like, you shouldn't change the entire product and like alienate the people who liked it to begin with. Like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be at the expense of your actual like longtime hardcore fans. And Terrell will also answer this because you are here often, so I'll do this for you. I think Evil, making him the IWGP Heavyweight, Intercontinental, and I think he still has part of the the 3-man titles, the trios titles. I think him being in that position is a terrible idea for New Japan. I have no idea how they could have thought putting all this stock into Evil was a good idea. I like Evil's decent. Like, he's above average, but they have a roster full of people way better than Evil that could be in that spot, including Naito, who he won all of this from. So, yeah, not into it at all.
Speaking of like inclusivity, I am really like annoyed right now at all the people bitching and moaning about AEW heels.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that.
I need to talk about that because that's all I'm seeing as I am checking Twitter. Hold on, my husband's asking me what's for dinner. Sure. I asked him to pick up some eggs on the way home. Anyways, but people are bitching and moaning about paying. I think it's $50 a year.
Mm-hmm.
You get these Zoom call seminars, Q&As. I can tell you firsthand, I have been involved in an AEW Heels Zoom call, and it was amazing. It was really fun. It was super, like, they put a lot of work into it. They had the attorney or lawyer for the Jacksonville Jaguars and AEW Dynamite had an entire presentation complete with, like, not a PowerPoint, but complete with, like, graphics. And it was about career burnout and how to it was like checking yourself, keeping yourself healthy, what are like healthy boundaries, limits within your passions, and how you need to check yourself so you don't burn out. It was very, very informative, and they kind of included the wrestlers in that. There was a makeup tutorial in it that was really fun. They did Hikaru Shida's look when she won, or when she had a match, and it was the makeup artist for AEW. doing the makeup, and a lot of people who were involved and like actually did the tutorial with her got to be on the end of the Zoom call, and they got to show off their makeup, and it was really cool. There was an entire Q&A with Nyla Nyla Rose. I almost said Nia Jax. Nyla Rose. That before, when you signed up for it, you could put a question, and they answered a whole bunch of questions, so you could have your question directly answered. They had, Brandy on there talking about stuff and discussing things, and it was Jennifer Decker was kind of leading the whole thing, kind of moderating with Brandy. And it was on a Zoom call, so you could have your camera on if you wanted, and I did. And there's like a chat, and people were talking, and Britt Baker was in there, Nyla Rose was in it. Like literally all the AEW women were in this chat as well, talking with people. It was really fun. It was a safe space for women who love wrestling to talk about wrestling and not have to worry about bullies or trolls or whatever. Like, I get it. I know people are upset that it's women only or whatever, but I'm going to be real with you guys. I don't know if you guys have been aware of what has been going on in the wrestling world, in the wrestling community right now, but we just had a whole bunch of people basically canceled because they couldn't control themselves around women. Being a woman and a female fan in the wrestling industry is kind of shitty sometimes. And a lot of the people that are shitty are other women, sure, yeah, sometimes, but it's a lot of men who can't accept the fact that someone with a vagina or, identifies as, a woman can like wrestling. And you know what? They can't deal with it, so they try and ruin it for us by trying to make us stop watching wrestling. And I'm not going to do that because some asshole doesn't want me to have a good time. I'm going to have a good time whether they like it or not. And you know what? I want to talk about it. I want to talk about wrestling, and a lot of times I can't. There are a lot of times I want to post on Twitter and talk about it, and I can't because I got too many people up in my mentions talking about my smelly ass hoodie, about my Party City wig, making fun of me, calling me a slut for no reason, telling me to stop posting about that and go back to my OnlyFans or whatever. I want to talk about wrestling. Sometimes I want to talk about, wrestling with other women. And a lot of times, sometimes they'll feel threatened. And I don't want to make them feel threatened. I just want to talk with them. And you know what? AEW Heels is a good place to do that. And it's a really good way to ensure that you are not going to have bullying and that you're not going to have trolls, is to make people pay. Because trolls, whether you like it or not, are typically high school kids, unemployed, or fucking broke ass losers. Not saying that all broke ass losers and unemployed people in high school are pieces of shit, but a lot of them are. And the minute you put up a fucking paywall, sorry, this is probably gonna get demonetized. The minute you put up a fucking paywall, the minute those people nope the fuck out. That's why my OnlyFans is through a paywall. That's why the pictures that are a little bit more risque than I want to put out there are through a paywall. It's because it's for my own fucking safety. All right? Because I know if you're going to pay a certain amount for a picture, that you damn want that picture and you're going to keep it to your damn self. So you know what? If you have a fucking problem with them charging $50 a year, like $4 a month or what the fuck ever, then you know what? Maybe you need to like realize that there are people out there who actually want to do this and have some fucking fun and get your head out of your fucking ass and realize it's not that big of a fucking deal. All right? It's literally a private Zoom call. You are there with Brandy Rose. They are not ignoring you. They noticed me. They noticed a bunch of people. It's very inclusive. You don't feel left out. It's a good way to kind of limit the space as well because AEW, whether you like it or not, is very popular. It's a good way to limit the amount of people so you don't get overwhelmed. You know, if you're paying for it, you are going to get it. I thought it was fantastic. I don't understand what the fuck people have a problem with it for. I don't understand why money is such a big ass fucking problem since we all pay fucking $9.99 a month for the WWE network. I understand we are in the middle of a fucking pandemic. I get that. Do not get me wrong. I understand people are unemployed. But you know what? As soon as you get that job and you think that this sounds like something for you, go ahead and do it. No one's fucking making you. No one's making you do this shit. No one's making you log in there, and if you exclusively want to talk to Brandy Rhodes, you have to join AEW Heels. No one's asking you to do this. No one's making you. No one's making this super exclusive shit. It's literally a fucking extra. And now my daughter's in here, so I'm not going to use any bad words. But, it's literally a bonus. When you buy a DVD, you pay extra for the bonus features. It's a bonus feature. It's cool. If you don't like it, cool, whatever. Just don't pay for it. I don't understand why people have a problem with it. I don't. It's so annoying. Ooh.
What did you just say?
No, she heard me say a bad word.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it either. I don't have nearly as many thoughts about it as you do, obviously, but I think that, I mean, I saw people, we talked about it a little bit before we went live, but, like, I saw some people even complaining, like,
Yeah, that doesn't mean you can use it.
it was, like, someone complaining about how, like, well, so this is where it gets weird for me. Okay, this is the only part of it that's weird for me, and we've already talked about it, but just for people watching, what I don't want happening is this. So, like, I love the fact that this group exists. For one, like, I think it's a very, very smart thing for AEW to do. I think it's a smart thing for any company at all to do something like this, because, like you said, there's probably a lot of situations where you want to say something, but, like, you really only feel safe saying it with, like, other female fans because for whatever reason. But
people are paying $400 to ask Alexa Bliss out. You're paying $10 fucking to message Roman Reigns.
Right, on those cameos and stuff, sure. But, like, the issues that I had nothing to do with the pay, really. It was really more of, like, I saw people already kind of going the route of, like, that it shouldn't be a women's group, it should be an everything but cis male group. Like, they're like,
No.
But what I'm saying, I've seen that, like, people tweeting that, like, basically saying, like, well, it shouldn't just be a women's group, it should be a women's group, but also a women in trans group and a women in, LGBTQ group, and it's like, but it's like, I don't want to join that group. Like, right, like, I think it should be for y'all. Like, it's your thing. But I don't want it to be a thing where it's like anti-men either. Like, that's weird to me, having that stance on it. Like,
it's not anti-men.
Well, no, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that there
that.
are people saying stuff like that, and it's like professional wrestling. There are going to be a lot of male fans. Like, there's going to be a male fans. Like, unless they totally change the product. So, like, that's where I get a little weirded out with that kind of stuff. It's like against, like, what the hell? Like, I didn't say anything about anybody.
You know what?
Like, I want you to have your own group. Like,
Yeah.
like, but don't make it like you can't join my group. It's like, well, I know.
Listen. To me, honestly, if you're a cis white male and you want to pay the money and you want to discuss women's wrestling with other women, I have zero problem with that. I think if a cis white male has that much interest in the women's division and, like, being inclusive towards women, then why the hell not? I don't see anyone actually having. It's not like there's a sign outside the front that says no boys allowed. This is not a treehouse, guys.
Well, what I think they could do is they could make something where there's, like, a women's group, and then there's, like, maybe like a male group, and then there's, like, an everyone group. Like, you can choose, like, who do you want to be discussing wrestling with when you're saying this thing. Like, you can be a part of the Brandy Rhodes, like, group that she's put together. Maybe they put together like a Cody Rhodes group where it's like fans from, like, the 1990s that, like, don't get a chance to talk that much about other fans from, like, when they were growing up. So it isn't mainly, like, just for men, but it may be like it's the same. I guess what I'm getting at is that concept is a really great concept. Being able to get on Zoom and interact with other people in the company and have it as like have it specified like which subjects you're talking about and stuff. And if somebody comes in there and starts trolling, it's like they're immediately, like, banned and blocked from the thing because it's like you paid, you know what you were doing and what the discussion was supposed to be about, and even if you paid and wanted to troll, they refund your money or whatever, or keep the money, and they ban you. And, like, that's a way of filtering out people and still being able to have the discussions you want to have. So I have no problem with them doing a women's only group. I have no problem with them doing a women's, gay, bi, group. I don't care. I don't care. Do whatever groups you want. Just don't make it and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying anyone.
Anyone, yeah.
Just don't make this like a you can't join our club type thing, because that just defeats the whole purpose of the progress that we're making with these kind of changes.
Yeah, and I think, and we have a super chat, which is super awesome. I'm gonna get to it in a second. I do just want to kind of like add to that I feel like there are kind of subscription things available. Maybe not like AEW specifically, like for men, basically. Like I can tell you when I'm on the live Twitch streams of like the Brian and Vinny show or Wrestling Observer Live, it's literally me and like maybe one other female, and I can't even post on the board because I feel kind of like intimidated and threatened as a female posting on the board. It's kind of
Well,
like it
I'd
makes me feel
imagine like
uncomfortable
I'd
about it.
imagine like 90 or 95% of Twitch users in general that were going to be male. Like
Yeah,
the platform in
exactly.
general is going to just be way more guys.
Yeah, like if I even like if you like look at the YouTube audience like for these streams, it's predominantly mostly male, pretty much, and I think that that's why kind of an all female group is like important to have, just because we want to find each other and we don't want to have to like go out of our way. I don't know, but I don't really have a problem with that. So I do think maybe another group would be kind of cool, like maybe like a VIP. Well, you know what? They have the All Elite Fleet. I have the patch on my thing, so
Yeah. So it's cool
yeah,
you're doing that kind of stuff then. So
yeah, I get the emails and all that. Where's the patch? There it is. I don't know if you can see it.
there you go. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. And you get emails and stuff like that. But Harold has a super chat, so thank you so much, Harold. He says, was very happy Abaddon was on Dark. I hope she gets more better fluid in the ring. She's definitely has presence. Yes. Love Abaddon. One of my faves. Super cool gimmick. Love her. Super nice. Super cool. Love it.
Yeah, I haven't watched the most recent episode of Dark. I need to watch it though because I know they've had a lot of good matches on it. Really, since since the show's started airing, to be honest, like Dark has been a consistently fun show. It's kind of akin to like if you're a '90s wrestling fan, like WCW Saturday Night, where like you're not going to see anything like super important on the show, but you might get a solid couple hours of wrestling. And the people that they just don't have time because Dynamite's only 2 hours a week. Um, and I agree with you, Harold. I think that Abaddon, she could be better in the ring, but there are certain people that their presence and their character and stuff, they can be so good that it can outweigh those things. I prefer people to be well-rounded personally, and I'm more interested in people's in-ring work than their characters. But that's just me. I think that there's plenty of people that Abaddon's a great example. She's very interesting. She has a different look. She has a different presentation. And her wrestling could get better, but she's already doing pretty darn well. And if her wrestling gets better, that's just the cherry on top as far as I'm concerned. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I do have to get going pretty soon because Scarlett's being like super impatient.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Well,
Yeah,
then, Dynamite tonight,
yeah.
the big match, obviously, we got Jon Moxley defending the AEW title against Darby Allin. What do you think of this one, and who do you think leaves as the champion?
I mean, Jon Moxley has to win, right? If he's gonna face MJF at All Out.
Unless Darby wrestles MJF, because that's already kind of there, too.
Which he could, but I think the whole like not my champion thing is kind of towards Moxley.
Yeah,
I mean, it could
yeah.
work.
Oh, I fully expect Mox to retain. I'm just saying, at least Darby's interesting.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's gonna be bloody, hardcore. I think it's gonna be nasty, like in a good way, like what WWE Underground wants to be. I loved. I keep saying I need to stop. That's like a no-no. I think the thumbtack skateboard bit was really cool. I would love to see how they're gonna like one up that if they one up that. I don't know if this tonight is this live or taped. I don't know.
It's a good question.
I think it's
not sure.
taped. I'm gonna assume it's taped. I'm just gonna assume it's taped. I said again. Dang it! Stop. But I see with AEW, I can legitimately see this going either way, and I don't know. I mean, I'm going to assume that Moxley wins. I don't know if there'll be shenanigans or not, though.
I'd like to see it. I don't know if there's a time limit draw, but Darby has had like those with Cody before,
Yes.
and I really like the way they position Darby, where it's like he hasn't been able to win the big one, but he's also not really just outright just like losing and getting his ass kicked. Even the match that he lost to Cody with the TNT title or during the tournament, I can't remember when it happened, but he hit Cody with the coffin drop, and then Cody kind of like rolled, and Darby kind of pinned himself even in that match and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and something else I want to bring up here is I've seen people complaining about the AEW rankings. I think Brian Alvarez was someone who did that too, and I wish I would have been able to say this, like conversation with him about this, as well as other people I've seen in my own friends that are complaining about Darby Allin getting the title shot. Well, it's totally justifiable because Darby Allin's ranked number 5, which people was like, why would number 5 ranked? This happens in the UFC all the time for the same exact scenarios. Because Moxley has already beaten Brody Lee. He's already beaten Brian Cage. Lance Archer already lost to Cody. And you have MJF who's getting a title shot. So Darby is the highest ranked person who hasn't been beaten in this rankings list. I mean, Archer hasn't had a chance against Moxley yet. But why should he? He lost to Cody. So so it's one of those things where, and Darby's lost to Cody too, but that was a while back, and he's been winning since then. So
It does make sense.
yeah, so I think it makes sense. It happens, like I said, in the UFC all the time, where people higher ranked have already had title shots, so people who are lower ranked get a shot at the champion because they haven't wrestled them or fought them yet. And yeah, I love Darby. I think he's for sure a future AEW World Champion. At some point in his career, probably within the next year or two, he might even be the one to beat MJF for the title. Because I do think MJF's going to beat Moxley for it. That's my prediction right now is MJF wins that title from Moxley. So, I think I think AEW's going to get really interesting. Well, it's already been interesting, but that's kind of where my head's at. Is I think Moxley will retain against Darby. I think MJF will beat Moxley, and then I think in 6 months to 6-8 months, something like that, maybe Darby is the one to take it from MJF or something. But
Yeah, Moxley does not need the championship.
no, he's fine either way.
Yeah.
I like him as the champion, but I think there's just so much they can do with MJF.
There is. So I thought we just got a big gust of wind and it kind of freaked me out, but we're good. Hear that
Was there
thunder?
anything?
Can you hear that?
I can't hear it on the stream.
Oh.
Let me see if there was anything else real quick. There's a 6-man tag tonight. There's Orange Cassidy and Jericho doing a debate with a mystery moderator. Matt Cardona. Oh, Cody and Matt Cardona are wrestling the Dark Order, the team of Silver and Reynolds. That'll be really good. And Silver especially deserves so much credit for how good he's been on being the Elite.
Yeah.
So yeah, is there anything else in the show that really sticks out? They're Proud and Powerful taking on the Best Friends as well. So of all that stuff, is there anything you kind of pinpoint as anything outside of the world title that you're really looking forward to tonight before we get out of here?
I was like, almost. Yeah, we got a big, huge bad storm coming our way. Well, not big, huge, but it's bad. I think the whole show should be good. Hopefully, the first match. I know, I'm kind of nervous when they have these big, tag team matches, just because last week was so meh. But it sounds really good. Sounds stacked as always, and I think even the matches that we sleep on happen to be good. So I don't really have a problem with it. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be fun. Best Friends, gotta love it. I think that debate is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Because I cannot wait for 2 weeks from now. I wonder if I can, but
Oh yeah, sorry.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm really interested to see how this goes. I mean, my husband, I'll tell you what, he was like, if I could meet anyone from AEW, he's like, it would be Chris Jericho. He's like, and my husband's NXT all the way. My husband watches NXT outside. Well, I watch AEW inside. He's like, but I really love Jericho. That man could get anything over. He could get a debate over. But it's Orange Cassidy doesn't talk very much, so I'm really excited for this. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I think Orange Cassidy should just go out there and just read off lines from Fast and Furious to Jericho.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
That's all he's into.
Yes.
All right, well, I'll go over our sponsors real quick since you got to get out of here. If there's anybody who has a last minute super chat for I'm going to read the sponsors. She's going to talk about her stuff, and then we will. If there's any last minute super chats, we will get to those, and then we'll get on out of here. So first of all, big announcement here.
Ooh.
Legends is now Music City Toys and Collectibles.
Whoa, they changed their name.
They have rebranded. It's all the same people. It's all the same stuff. This was a strategic move, from what I understand, where they're basically going to start being in more like retail and random like physical locations, and they rebranded because I'm assuming most of their business will probably be based out of Nashville or like surrounding areas in Tennessee. But yeah, Music City Collectibles, same stuff as before. Fair prices, easy people to deal with, really nice people, and they do live claim sales and stuff where they'll go on Facebook, live on video, show what they have, say how much it costs. If you claim it in the chat, they'll invoice it to you the next day. All this kind of stuff. They got action figures, DVDs. 8x10s, autographs, everything you can think of. So check them out on all social media. It used to be at HL Pro Wrestling. Now I would just search Music City Toys and Collectibles. So once again, check them out. Their stuff is awesome. I'm still growing my collection. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm waiting on those AEW figures, but I also have other figures on the way from Music City Toys and Collectibles. Also, WrestleRumble.com. This is the place to be. All the pick'em contests, all the raffles, all that stuff. Awesome. The prizes right now, $1 entries, you win 5 title belts. You get 2 old school tag team titles, you get the old school IC title, and you get the old school Winged Eagle Championship belt, along with just a mystery belt they're going to also send to you. So this is probably about 12, 16. I would ballpark this is probably around $2,000 or so worth of belts.
Easy.
Off the top of my head. Yeah. And it could be yours for $1. Just jump over to WrestleRumble.com. They're doing the drawing for this on August 23rd. And it's going to be live on Solid Monsters live stream on YouTube. So it's taking place right after SummerSlam. So the timing, I love how they do that. So for those of you who don't know, basically, after the pay-per-view ends, Solid Monster goes live on his YouTube channel to review the show. And sometime during the show, they do a live raffle where they go on the website with everyone's name who's in the contest, and the winner is drawn live during the show. So you don't have to be watching the show to win the prize. Like if you win and you're not watching, they'll email you, so you don't have to worry about that. But it is cool how they do it. And once again, just follow them on social media at WrestleRumble and check out their website, WrestleRumble.com, to be a part of the contest and the raffles. And lastly, we got my brother Brian Jensen. You can follow him on Instagram at BoxingATL. He is over that 1,000 follower mark now, which he was under on the last stream. So thank you for helping him out. If you want to learn how to throw hands, get in better shape, if you want to box professionally or in an amateur level or whatever goals you have, Brian can help you out. He's out in the Atlanta, Georgia area. He has a gym that he co-owns called Steel Boxing and Athletics in the Atlanta, Georgia area. He's also a part of Parkinson's Foundations for their boxing programs. I help out with that as well, with like their website and video editing and stuff like that. So whether you're like just an everyday person or you're somebody who might be dealing with some like neurological issues or Parkinson's or anything like that, specific, Brian's a professional to help you with that stuff as well. He can help you in person. He can help you over Zoom. So he can help you, remotely anywhere in the world. Just shoot him a follow and hit him up with a message. Just say, hey, I heard about you through Steven and Jesse. I guarantee you he gives you a really, really good deal. So once again, that's Brian Jensen. Follow him on Instagram at BoxingATL. That's BoxingATL. You can follow me on Twitter at FightTalk_ right underneath me here on the video, FIGHTTALK_. Got some videos coming out soon on YouTube that I'll make sure to post links for when they're up. And I got some other podcasts that I'm going to be doing. One, I think, tomorrow night as well, talking
Ooh.
and some other stuff. So, make sure to follow me on Twitter, and I'll pass it over to Jessie to let you know about what she's got going on, and to make sure to subscribe to our channel and thumbs up and all that stuff. So, Jessie, what's up with you?
What's up with me? Well,
Yeah.
I got an OnlyFans, bro. That's the
Yeah,
best
bro.
way to get into contact with me. If you want to DM me all the time, if you want to talk with me, see cool pictures, have fun, you know what I'm saying? You can go to my OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/Jessie the Buckeye, JessieTheBuckeye.
Heard that.
You heard that? Okay. I was like,
Are you
almost,
done?
honey.
We're
Almost
close,
done.
Scarlett. Very close, Scarlett.
What?
And so we're very close, Scarlett.
Yeah, we're very close. We're almost done. So that's the best way to get in contact with me and support me and my growing family. I have a bunch of content backed up, stocked up for my pregnancy and further, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, if you're into that, I mean, I can do that too. But we will see. So my OnlyFans is the best way to get in contact with me. I do not answer DMs on Twitter. Do not ever try to add me on Facebook or Instagram because I won't.
Are we having a
You're
new
ha-
friend?
Yes, in February.
I name her. I know.
What?
Holly.
Polly? Okay. That is the best way to get into contact with me. If you
There
have,
can be two Scarlets.
I don't think I can have two Scarlets.
Two Scarlets.
We can hold hands.
You can hold hands, of course.
Yeah.
Anyways, let me finish,
Two
okay?
Scarlets can hold hands.
Of course.
And you and then or we will be going by ourselves to school.
Well, there you go. All right, let me finish up, okay? All right, then go sit down. I'm almost done, okay?
I don't know.
You can watch. So the OnlyFans is the best way if you want to DM me. I try and get on there. I've been super busy today, you guys. I'm so sorry. We've got cleaning people coming tomorrow. So I have to like pre-clean. That sounds ridiculous. And as you can tell, I like am kind of a little bit sick. Not the thing. Don't worry, it's not the thing. I'm pregnant, so I'm super tired. And I have to watch over this little one. So I promise I'm getting to those DMs. I always get to them every day. Try to do it 3 times a day. Best way to get in contact with me. Obviously, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is the best way to get notified early of a reminder when we're going to go live, because we kind of make these the day of. So
Yep.
we make these the day of. I put them up there. You'll get a reminder 30 minutes before, and then you'll get a notification that we're live. So please subscribe if you'd like this. I'm not making you subscribe if you don't want to, but it would really help us out. Also, what would really help us out is a thumbs up. A thumbs up. That's right. A thumbs up on this video.
Thumbs up and don't subscribe and like.
Yes,
That's right.
exactly.
Yes, and then obviously follow me on Twitter for all of my.
Don't forget to come to Disney.
Yeah, sure. Come to Disney. If you are healthy and live in Florida, please come to Disney. If you're from out of state, go away. But
Lamb poopy.
yeah, sure. And then obviously my Twitter. That's where you're gonna find all my. That's where you're gonna find all of my live tweeting and wrestling stuff. Scarlett, dang it, honey, hold on. Can you please move for a second? This is a hot mess. Dear God. Anyways, so yeah, that's the best way to get.
Welcome back to the best they ever have, and let me let you go.
All right.
She is literally right on your microphone. It's so funny. She knows exactly where that.
Oh, she'll grab it off of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows everything. She's like
Now
a
let's
YouTube
turn off
queen.
the light.
No, let's not turn off the lights, Scarlett. Do not. No, ma'am. Do not touch that. All right. So that's all my spiel for today.
Sweet. Well, we don't know when we will be back next, if I can spit that out. Probably sometime this weekend or early next week.
Yeah.
Once again, why it's so important to just make sure you're subscribed. It's totally free to subscribe here on YouTube. It's totally free to leave a thumbs up. And if you're following us on Twitter, we always try to make sure that we're letting y'all know when these are going live. But like Jesse said, we usually don't know for sure until the day of. So do our best. We appreciate everyone hanging out today, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right, guys.